per a request a little while back, we now have Slowbro here in Pokemon Unite as our focus Pokemon for this spectator match. Looks like everybody is within that master class on this team. No real naming conventions for each player, so this means we're most likely dealing with a team that is not communicating, via Discord or whatever it may be. And so like all the spectator matches that we do on this channel, please be aware, of course, we may not always 100% of the time follow that one Pokemon that we started off to follow with, for instance, Slowbro in this case. Now, Slowbro, the interesting thing about this, we're gonna call our character, I guess, Sumo today. Interesting thing is, early on, Slowbro is really good for using that water gun, basically, to harass enemies, take their camp, take that farm. So any of these wild, neutral Pokemon that are on the enemy's territory side are fair game for Slowbro, really. Well, we should say Slowpoke early on right here. We have a little bit of aggressive play, of course, by Lucario, who probably should be doing that, of course, on the purple squad, but also matched by the Talonflame there on the orange squad, as well as some of the others around it. I mean, you can see the Froakie. They've all gone just a little crazy on that purple goal, whittling it down a bit by bit, and that's kind of a good strategy for these Pokemon, all of them. Lucario, Talonflame, they can... Look at this, you could actually see down there, kind of speaking of strategy. We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, I was just gonna say, taking down that goal piece by piece, chipping away at it with little 5 deposits or 7, smaller points, and it's gonna heal you. Look at this Talonflame right here. It does have a score shield, and of course it's a fletchling right now, but does have the score shield, so it can withstand that punishment on top of the goal, but is also gonna get those points and then get healed. Now there's the danger, of course, is that it's gonna have enough health to come back at you, and you might be, thinking as purple that you're safe, oh, okay, it was really low. This actually does not look good for the fletchling, though. Look at that expert water gun right there, and it's actually taking... Okay, so that was really interesting. So the fletchling actually went up and then came back down to the goal, and obviously if the Slowpoke, now Slowbro, was just going in a straight line to the right, it's obviously going to catch up and did get that final hit off needed to KO that Talonflame. But I was going to say what was really interesting about the bottom lane, that happened almost 30-40 seconds ago already, was that when Combee and Vespiquen show up, they were all hidden in the grass, and they were basically looking to get the jump on the enemies who would be trying to go for those. That is a good source of course, resources and things, to get you more points, get you more experience. It's just sort of that big burst that comes right there at the 850 mark on the clock is when the first ones come in. And so Slowbro, of course, still at this stage, level 5 right now, is going to have its slack off ability, so you can still kind of heal up right now before trying to upgrade, which of course now we've reached level 6 right there. Slowbro, the good news is, of course, it evolves at level 4. A lot of the Pokemon that I play, Slowbro being actually the exception. It is one that I play relatively often myself, but anybody who, mains Gardevoir, Blastoise like myself as well, these are Pokemon that need many, many levels to, first of all, evolve, but also really to get your ideal moveset, your entire moveset. And so this is what Slowbro's all about, is you almost play it like a support, and I'm often support-minded myself, so that's kind of the angle that I like to analyze things sometimes. But of course, by ranking in class, it's a defender, Slowbro is, but it can have that support play style, and so you do want to try to play for your allies. You often can't do things alone, and this was actually an example of where Slowbro, this one, Sumo, probably should have been down there with their allies. They were trying to take that Dreadnought, of course, but Orange does seem to have gotten it. I'm sorry that we were not spectating that moment. We were trying to focus on Slowpoke here as we talk about it, especially in this aspect of, team fights and things. But it can be an invaluable asset going up against that Dread, because you'll just come in there in the blink of an eye, especially if you have an eject button. You can actually use this not to escape, but to teleport into the fray. Start off with that Surf, except for this Slowbro is actually going Scald. We really got to talk about this, but I was going to say, going Surf, and then you chain it with Telekinesis, and if you have your Unite move, of course, that's Slow Beam. You can often catch people unawares and really immobilize a player for such a long time. And so again, it's very valuable being with a teammate, because look at this Slowbro, especially going up against 3, getting absolutely squished. So it got wrecked, it got stomped on, but yeah, this Slowbro, like I said, chose to go Scald. This is really something that I wouldn't recommend, but I think a lot of, websites, a lot of Masters players probably would not recommend that. In general, Surf is just too good for what Slowbro's playstyle is. You would want to go Surf instead of Scald. Surf not only gonna push the players up like a stun, basically, but especially when you upgrade it, that's 3 stuns because there's 2 waves that follow that initial wave on Surf. You can also kind of do an interesting thing with Surf with Slowbro where you can actually surf into the wall, which normally fails completely with Blastoise, for example. Lots of characters have Surf, as we know, but Slowbro has an interesting one that the water can go through the wall while Slowbro stays behind. So if you actually did not want to fully engage, you could stun somebody, knock the opponents up while staying at a safe distance. And so it looks like this time Slowbro, Sumo right here, is going to rotate down a little bit dangerous position. They're kind of exposing themselves right here to a lot of danger. Yeah, see that? I mean, that did not go well at all. So again, that probably Asumo should have at least tried to sneak around where kind of that Lucario is now, but go up back into their territory, into, you know, closer to their jungle, and then come back around. Or maybe if you have that eject button and you wanted to use it there, just essentially going in guns blazing right there against almost the whole squad, if not the entire squad. Not the most wise of moves, I would say, especially at this stage in the game where you really want your squad there to take on the Dreadnought. And of course, the Dreadnought now almost nearing that 50% health, of course, because Greninja on the orange team is just chipping away at it with ease, really, and it's unobstructed, you know. And now Talonflame gonna join in, that Charizard on the orange squad, so they are gonna take that, you know, clearly. So yep, right side team is gonna get that shields, get the experience points. So this is not looking great for purple. You know, the score is pretty close. It's just when you look at these levels, especially down at the bottom left, bottom right, you can see both teams' levels and of course how they stack up to each other. Wow, Lucario in a close matchup with that Charizard. Charizard is going to come out the victor of that one. But again, our Slowbro right now a little bit under leveled, as well as the Eldegoss, if you want to compare it to all the other players in this matchup right now. So this is what you should do, as the Slowbro is doing right now, is take on some wild farm, you know, try to get your levels up to match everybody else's, you know. And so the main problem is going to come when obviously you see that the squads are now going after Rotom. Orange has its entire squad here, so that presence is going to be felt. Slowbro is now joining the fight. Lucario down at the bottom lane for purple. They really did need that Lucario if they wanted to come out on top of that. Slowbro, you can already see running back right here. The main thing about Scald, you know, is just that, yeah, you are going to get that burn for about 4 seconds, that slowing effect. It's just maybe a little bit of burst damage too, but imagine having Surf right there, you know, disabling people, and again, chaining that Surf in with telekinesis. That's what it's all about, right? Greninja gonna super jump all the way over here, trying to, of course, just stop this Rotom. Looks like everybody's focused on stopping that Rotom right now, while, of course, you see the orange squad does have a Venusaur that's stacking up points right there in the jungle, and so that's the danger, right, is you've got your whole squad here kind of distracted by Rotom in the case of purple, and especially in this late game where a lot of people are gonna have a lot of points stacked up if they're doing well. You can see that Venusaur, that Charizard now at 50 points, Talonflame on the orange, 40 points. Look at that, going to drop in, and there's a Lucario that could super to it if they can make it on time, and the Lucario is going to try to stop it. Yes, it does look like they actually do. We can only tell that by the mini-map right now. We are focused on Slowbro, of course. Looks like Talonflame is going to drop that 44, but right here, imagine having Surf. You know, it's good that they have telekinesis. You know, they did at least go that move. You can at least make a case for Amnesia instead of telekinesis. Certainly, you could make an argument, but again, Slowbro really is that kind of support defender, which honestly, that's why I really like to play Slowbro. It's just kind of, though, like if there was a tier right here, it would be more like my A or B. It's kind of a little bit lower on my list of Pokemon that I main, at least. And so it does seem that Orange is going to try to go for this Dreadnought. Do they have enough time? Of course, because that Zapdos is coming in. They actually get it just at the last second. So Orange really taking over those Dreadnought. Slowbro hiding out in the grass. It's probably going to want to wait. No, it's absolutely going to expose itself right there. So I was going to say, Slowbro, you want to wait for the rest of your squad. Once again, like we said before, Slowbro not really going to be that kind of solo killer or anything like that, but also especially when you've got a 3-on-1 in Orange favor. So that was really, I would say, gonna hurt the purple squad. They really, again, could have used Slowbro for disabling people, immobilizing them while they're, of course, going for that Zapdos. And Lucario gonna try to drop in that 50. I was gonna say it's gonna be uncontested in that goal, but no, I mean, can we switch back? It's just the KO has already happened, but wow, Lucario gonna meet a terrible demise that would have actually changed things hugely and impacted the game if that Lucario could have scored right there, because that would have been a 100. And no, the right team is gonna get that Zapdos. You guys, Orange squad just absolutely beasting it this game. I don't ever like to, you know, talk bad about anybody that we're spectating and things. It's just that Slowbro at least made some choices and some moveset choices that I would not have done. Would it have saved them? Tough to say when, of course, you see that Orange squad has won by about 300 points. I gotta tell you, it's really hard to match up with a Slowbro for Spectator Mode. Most of the time, you're not gonna see a Slowbro there in the top ranked players under ranked matches, and that's what we tried to do. I'm glad that we did finally get one. Spoke a little bit about the strategies and things, but feel free to check out another Spectator match, and thanks for viewing.